know
Okay.
this might be a good breaking point.
All right, that's fine. Okay, ladies, let's go ahead and take our morning recess. Do not discuss the case with anybody and don't do any outside research. We'll take 15 minutes, okay?
What did I just do? Oh, I mispressed the button. Never mind. I think they're taking a recess.
All right, we'll just
Go
come
get
back
some
then at
breakfast.
10:50. Is that okay? All right, 10:50.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
What do I want to eat today? Morning, guys. They're having a recess right now. I just woke up, so I apologize if I'm late. They're having a 15-20 minutes recess, so it's gonna take a while. And I'm gonna fix myself some breakfast too during this recess. And cleaning my table because it's a mess in here. Good morning to you all if you're watching. Right now it's May 16th. Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp trial resumes. And I hear that in addition to Amber Heard testifying again today, Ellen Barkin might show up on via video. She's not going to be there in person, but the actress Ellen Barkins will be testifying against Johnny Depp via Zoom. So that should be interesting. Because here's the thing, I knew that Ellen Barkin worked with Johnny Depp on that movie that's a favorite of mine, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Fantastic movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. One of the best movies about getting high. But I didn't know. I guess at the time I wasn't really into tabloid relationships. In the 90s, I just love movies in general. And I was naive. I didn't know that Ellen Barkin and Johnny Depp at one point were dating. I had no idea until today, and I had no idea that Ellen Barkin hated Johnny Depp until today's old. I'm today's old that I found that out. So I did find it surprising that Ellen Barkin accused Johnny Depp of, like, I don't know what was it. I read somewhere something along the lines of beating her up or cursing her out, because Johnny Depp's other ex-girlfriends, including Winona Ryder, and Kate Moss and all those people, they have been very sweet about what their experiences were dating Johnny Depp. You know what I'm saying? They have been saying like sweet stuff about Johnny Depp, how he was a great boyfriend, how he was tepid and calm, mild-mannered, and all that stuff. But Ellen Barkin stood out as one of the only ex-girlfriends of Johnny Depp she claimed to have a bad experience being Johnny Depp's ex-girlfriend or girlfriend at the time. So that's all news to me. So I'm really curious to see her story through today's testimony. But right now, I'm gonna fix myself some breakfast while the trial is on recess. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna put this away. If the trial goes all the way till 12 p.m., I'm gonna have to cut that short because at 12 p.m. my favorite soccer team will be playing. Okay, Arsenal FC going up against Newcastle at noon. So Yeah. Hopefully the trial doesn't go all the way till noon because by noon I'd have to watch something else. But we'll see. All right, let's wrap this. Let me get some breakfast. I'm thinking probably just chicken. I have some chicken in my refrigerator. Let's see here. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Let's see what the weather's like today. Oh. Let me close this window. There you go. Okay, I have the weather on my phone. The weather's gonna go up to 83 degrees by this afternoon. Not bad. Yesterday was like 97, so a lot cooler this time. That's not bad at all. Let's see here. I've been doing TikTok videos, by the way. It's a learning process, work in progress, touch and go sort of a thing. But I'm getting it. I'm getting it. So if you are on TikTok, please follow me on TikTok. It's TikTok / Rama Screen, of course. Rama, but it's Rama _ screen, I believe. And yeah, go follow me there. Oh. Ah. If you're wondering, here it is. Here's my food. It's just leftover chow mein and fried chicken that I got from the store the other day. So nothing fancy, but while we're waiting for the court to come back from recess, I'm gonna watch the news on my other screen here. The news because it's safe, there's no copyright stuff. Mhm. Where's news? Oh, it's here somewhere. Local news network. God, I hope this is not Fox News. Hate those guys. Oh, it's local. Yeah, I like local stuff. I don't know what's going on in my neighborhood. Bakersfield, Fresno. Oh, I live in Redlands, yo. Seattle. Why do I want local news in Seattle? Freaking A. Let me just. Ay, 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 ay. There you go. No, thank you. That's not what I want. Okay, live TV. Nope, that's not it. News, NBC News Live, live now. Okay, this will do. All right, see what's going on in the world. Ah, what up, Dominic John Spano? You know, the thing is, bro. Let me turn down the volume here on my TV. I have time today, actually. That's why I am broadcasting this. I figured I got time. Usually by this hour, I would be preparing for my reviews. You know, my next new reviews that I'll be filming. But I haven't. I don't have to do that till tonight. So I was like, wow, finally free time. So and I heard that the trial is resuming today, and I figured, you know what? Let's tune in. Let's tune in. So that's why I'm here, Dominic. So what do you want to talk about, Heard and Depp? Any new opinions that you want to share with us, Dominic, about the trial? I just mentioned earlier that I'm surprised to find Ellen Barkin will be testifying today, and she's testifying against Johnny Depp. I that whole thing is news to me. The thing about Ellen Barkin and Johnny Depp, I didn't know that they were in a relationship. I knew that they were in a movie together. You know, my favorite movie. Oh, still stay tuned. Okay. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is one of the best movies in the '90s. But back then, when I was a kid in the '90s, you know, I just loved movies in general. I was not into the tabloid stuff. You know, I was not into except for a few things here and there. I was not into like, oh my God, you know, what did that person do to his girlfriend? You know, what did that celebrity? You know, I wasn't in my TMZ mode at the time. I don't think there was even TMZ at the time. So I didn't know that Ellen Barkin was the only ex-girlfriend of Johnny Depp that supposedly had a bad experience with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's other girlfriends or ex-girlfriends, including Winona Ryder and Kate Moss and all those guys, have been saying that Johnny Depp was sweet to them. You know, Johnny Depp was nice to them. Johnny Depp was you know, kind, mild mannered, what have you. But Ellen Barkin is the one that had a bad experience apparently. So I'm curious to hear from her. She's gonna show up, I think, today via video. She's not gonna be there in person, which is a shame. You know, that'd be pretty. It would have been, or it would be much cooler if she could show up in person in the trial. But she's just gonna be there via live feed or via Zoom, whatever. I read, and she's gonna share us how she feels about Johnny Depp. And this is gonna be the first time I'm hearing it from Ellen Barkin, one of the coolest actresses around. Oh, somebody just texted me twice. Oh, okay. It's got the news too. This baby formula, man, has been like really taking over the conversations. All right, want to eat? Let's see. There's got to be another probably. Instead of stay tuned, let's find another feed that may be showing us the insides of the courtroom instead of just like a big screen that says stay tuned. There you go. What? Liverpool beat Chelsea? That was yesterday. I don't want to hear yesterday's news. There you go. See, this is much better than just stay tuned. We get to see what people are doing when the court is in recess. Let me eat my breakfast as well. Look at that Johnny Depp, man. Wearing the same suit, I think, but different vests. I'm guessing. I can't see that well from this distance. Okay. What are you guys eating for breakfast today, man? Are Are you guys having a better breakfast than me today? Dude, remember how funny Amber Heard, that, she became a meme when she said that my dog stepped on a bee. My dog stepped on a bee, and everybody like on TikTok responds to it like, my dad has to go pee. What was the other woman like? Without my glasses, I cannot see. Okay, so for real though, what is the relevance of your dog, stepping on a bee? I'm not a lawyer, and I would be like, what? Can we get back to the case, please? The real John Corona's here. I'm fasting until 11:45 a.m. Oh my goodness, bro! Is that a thing that you're doing as of late, or lately? This fasting thing, that's good. That's good. I mean, I'm all for it, bro. Dieting and whatnot. But if you're fasting because you can't catch your breakfast because you have to work at the moment, well, hang in there, brother. Hang in there, okay? You'll get to eat soon. But everybody go check out the Real Talk YouTube channel and follow him also on TikTok. Subscribe to his channel. Brother John Corona is amazing. One of the best people I've ever known. So cheers to you, Brother John. Dominic, Depp always looks so dapper and well dressed in pricey suit. I hate to admit it, but I never eat breakfast. You never eat breakfast? Oh, dude, I'm chowing on this chicken right now. Leftover microwave chicken from the other night. Fried chicken. It's not Popeyes though. I would have loved it if it was Popeyes. That's the best chicken. Okay, here we go. Starting. The whole truth. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Right? Never mind. She's not taking an oath. This is some kind of a standing up for the judge to arrive. I think. I'm chowing on. My dog stepped on a bee. Yo ho, yo ho. A pirate's life for me. Oh yeah, brother John. Have a good day at work, brother. We don't know when the verdict will happen because this week will be another week of witnesses and testimonies again, John. Including today, Ellen Barkin, the actress Ellen Barkin from Animal Kingdom series, she will show up because she was the ex-girlfriend or one of the ex-girlfriends of Johnny Depp. She'll gotta show up on video to testify against Johnny Depp. So, to answer your question, we don't know yet when the verdict will happen. But it's another week, another round of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp taking the stand, and also other people.
What, if any, contact did you have with Mr. Depp during the period from April 21 to May 21, 2016?
I had no physical contact with him.
Okay. I'm going to take you to May 2nd, 2016, the Met Gala. Can you please just briefly describe to the jury what a Met Gala is, where it is, and what's involved?
It's arguably the biggest fashion kind of celebrity event, red carpet event of the year. It happens every year.
It's the elite, one percenters.
And were you invited?
I was invited. Typically, designers will invite people in the public eye to be their, guest, and they will typically dress them, and it's a way for designers or fashion to kind of intersect with a celebrity world, and it's a big event held at the museum every year.
And what, if anything, did you and Mr. Depp do to prepare for that Met Gala?
Well, Johnny and I were, we were dressed by Ralph Lauren, guests of Ralph Lauren, and Johnny missed the fitting because it was happening around the date of my birthday party in Los Angeles. But we were planning on going together as Ralph Lauren's guests.
Okay. And did you show up?
I did. I didn't have a phone at the time because I couldn't get it reinstated after Johnny threw it out of the window because no one on his team would respond to me. So I had no way to kind of reinstall it. I had, it's no point in getting a burner phone if you don't know anyone's phone number. So I wasn't sure really what was going on or when he would show up or if he would show up. No one would talk to me on his team. No one would tell me. I didn't know. So I ended up going by myself. Frankly, I wasn't sure if he'd show up and, you know, on the carpet or if he'd show up at the hotel shortly before. I had no way of knowing.
And then did you attend the Met Gala?
I did. I got out of the car and walked the red carpet by myself, escorted by somebody from Ralph Lauren's team. And I sat next to an empty place setting for Johnny that they cleared as soon as we realized that he had effectively stood me up on the carpet.
Who did you meet at the Met Gala?
I was standing in line right in front of a gentleman. It was Elon. I didn't recognize him until
Elon,
we started talking.
Conversation.
And he had reminded me that we had met once before. He was with his mother.
And did you strike up a friendship with Mr. Musk after that?
We did. We, as I mentioned, we spoke on the red carpet, kind of in the waiting line of the carpet. He seemed like a real gentleman. He was really nice, and he sat next to me. Well, not next to me. He sat kind of at a nearby table, and we got to speaking that night, and then eventually became friends.
Okay. I'm going to, Michelle, can you pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 46? It's already in evidence. It's Aaron Filati's notes. And I'm going to ask you to go to
That's right.
page
She mentioned
30.
Elon Musk.
And I'm going to direct your attention to the entry for 5/11/2016, where it says, if I can see, here we go. Let me see if I can do some reasonable highlighting here. Okay, it says client laughed and also reported using illicit drugs, mushrooms and MDMA on 5/9/2016 at home with a high-profile male acquaintance. Client reported that her husband was not aware of the male visitor nor her illicit drug use. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Who was the high-profile male acquaintance that visited your home on 5/9/2016?
I don't recall even being in LA at that time.
Where were you?
I don't recall. I believe I was in London at the time.
Okay. Did you have a male high-profile client at your home in or around 5/9/2016?
Not around that date. It seems like it's a wrong date.
Okay. And did you use illicit drugs, mushrooms, and MDMA with any high-profile client?
No, I did that at the Coachella Music Festival, and that was the end of that. I learned the hard way that that was a terrible idea.
All right. Well, while we are on these same notes, I'm going to refer to the Coachella, which is up above, and it says it states she ingested mushrooms and MDMA simultaneously while also consuming alcohol, and states she vomited and was high for at least 24 hours straight. Were you high for at least 24 hours straight?
No, I was not. I felt awful, but I was at home feeling awful. At home, meaning at the hotel, with my best friend in bed.
Okay. Well, while I'm still on these notes, let's go. I know while Aaron Filati was testifying, we recall the 5/21/2016 isn't on here. You'd sent her pictures, correct?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Then let's go to 5/26/2016, and it says, client reports having the hardest week of my life. Client states she cannot deal with the negative media publicity she has received. And then if we can jump that up, Michelle, to the next page, surrounding the divorce she requested from her husband, J.D. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay. When did you go in for the DVTRO?
May 27th.
So
after
that was
this.
the day after Aaron Filati's note saying you just had the toughest week of your life?
That's correct.
Okay. While we are still on this one, let's go up to the first page for the client history. When did you provide a client history to Aaron Filati?
Never.
When did you first get assigned Aaron Filati?
I believe September of 2014.
Okay. Now it says here that client reports a history of substance abuse, including an addiction to cocaine and liquor. When did you have a history of substance abuse, including addiction to cocaine and liquor?
I did not. There's a lot of mistakes in here.
Okay. Did you ever use cocaine?
I have. I used cocaine a few times when I was 18, 19 years old, but stopped using any drugs, including cocaine, when I got into a relationship with my ex-partner. She was very against that, and I'm glad for it.
Okay. Then it also says here that I'm going to move up a little. Here we go. Client admits to history of anxiety, eating disorder, attention deficit disorder, bipolar disorder, codependence issues, and occasional insomnia. When have you had an eating disorder?
I've never had an eating disorder.
When have you been diagnosed with bipolar disorder?
I've never been diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
When have you been diagnosed with codependence issues?
I have never been diagnosed with codependency issues, although arguably at the time, from where I stand now, I can see that the relationship I was in with Johnny was certainly codependent.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have reported that at the time. I didn't know about that.
All right, and then can we move up a little bit more, Michelle? Thank you. It has, per report from JD, Debbie RN, Dr. Kipper, client AH has reportedly been experiencing increased anxiety and agitation recently and has had several outbursts of anger and rage. Were you present for this being reported to Ms. Filati?
No, this is the detox.
Okay.
This is Johnny's.
And it also says your mood has been labile. What, if any, outbursts of anger and rage and labile mood did you exhibit during the detox?
Labile.
None that she would have seen. None. I was there for Johnny's detox. This is what Johnny was going through. This is not me.
Okay. And at the time of the detox, was Aaron Filati your nurse yet?
No, I didn't know her, and she wasn't there.
Okay. Thank you very much. You can take this down, Michelle. Now, I'm going to take you to May 21, 2016, and I'd like you to describe for the jury what took place that evening in connection with Mr. Depp.
Johnny and I had not seen each other for the better part of a month, or about a month. I was traveling. I had just shot a campaign in Italy. I spoke to him around that time when I was in Italy. I had gotten a phone. My parents got a hold of me. After I spoke to my parents, I had communicated with Johnny. He, on that phone call, I didn't know what was going on with him for those weeks. With his sobriety, I didn't know where his state was. I didn't know what state he was in. And when I spoke to him, he was saying what I can only just, he was going on about scientists and DNA and feces, that he had had some scientific analysis done and DNA analysis done, and that, as soon as I heard about this feces, he thought that was a prank, and he was going on about all the scientists that he had conferred about the DNA results with. Just thought he was out of his mind, and thought clearly the drinking and the drugs are not getting better. Clearly the delusions aren't better. So
Objection calls for speculation.
It's not up to the truth of the matter. We're talking about what her.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Please continue.
So I hung up from that phone call, assuming that, and then spoke to him once my parents got a hold of me to tell me about Betty Sue. We made a plan, Johnny and I, for him to come over. He said he really needed his wife. He had lost his mother and he missed his wife. He really needed his wife. He said it over and over again. I felt torn. I felt conflicted. I didn't think, obviously, the situation hadn't gotten better with Johnny mentally, and I was afraid that all the work and progress and distance I had finally got on the relationship for the first time. I had a month of distance on it, I didn't want that to be undone, but I also wanted to be, I was affected by the fact that his mother had passed. So he said he wanted to come over and talk about that, and he said he needed his wife, and we made a plan. We made a plan for him to come over during the day, thinking that might mitigate the amount that he would be drinking. Night is a little bit more dangerous. And in the early evening hours, I get a text from him that he's almost there, or that he's there. I think it was around 7:15 or so. And he came over, and we sat on the couch, and at first it was relatively peaceful. I mean, I could tell he was inebriated, but it makes sense. In my head, it made sense. He wasn't like incoherent. It was peaceful. And then he starts talking about the feces again, and this prank that he said one of my friends had left for him in my bed that he wasn't going to be at. And I tried to point out how that didn't make any sense. I'm not even going to be there. I wasn't there. And my friends wouldn't do that. That's not something a bunch of 30-year-old women think is funny. What is he talking about? And he just kept going on and on about it. So I text my friend that it's...
Objection, hearsay.
Objection here.
Don't tell the jury what you texted your friend, but go to the next thing. What did you do next?
I called my friend thinking that it would quell this, what I could only see as a delusion. I thought it was just a delusion he was having, and I thought, I'll hopefully, quell this by calling my friend to if he hears my friend say that didn't happen.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
It's not offering to prove the truth of it. Thank you. Please continue.
So I thought if I could get my friend on the phone to prove that this didn't happen, we could move on and talk about the issues that we should be talking about. Our marriage was over and falling apart in front of our eyes. We hadn't seen each other for a month, and his mom had just passed. I couldn't believe he wanted to talk about feces.
Right.
So I call this friend thinking that we'll take care of it. The friend doesn't answer. I call another friend who is
really
someone else he
ridiculous.
claimed. I don't know how both people did this, but he was claiming that this person was responsible. So I call that person. And that person is on speakerphone. And I
Tell
say,
us who that person is.
Io.
Io, tell it right?
Io, tell it right.
Okay. And then you put him on speakerphone with Johnny.
Right in front of Johnny.
Okay. And what happened next?
I allowed for an opportunity for Io to say why this is impossible.
Objection,
That-
It's
hearsay.
not offered to prove the truth of the matter, is asserted, Your Honor. It's
Somebody's name is
explaining the
IO.
context that leads to the next
iOS,
acts.
iPhone.
Your Honor, it is being offered
We're
to
not
prove
here, we're not here about whether IO,
I'll sustain
on
the
the back.
objection. Next question.
all right. All right, so IO is talking. You can't tell us what he said. Okay. he's
Objection, Your
talking,
Honor.
correct?
May we approach?
Okay.
Ooh. Law and Order. Dun dun. May we approach the bench, Your Honor? And this is when they debate with the judge, like, she can't say that. No, I can say that. She can't ask that line of questioning.
So-
No,
IO is talking. We can't say what he said. What is the next thing that happens on your end with Mr. Depp?
It just made Johnny madder. He got more upset, grabbed the
Madder?
phone, and started screaming at Io. He just started screaming at the top of his lungs, said, "You dyke bitch, you don't know what you're talking," just screaming expletives, insulting names, and
yeah.
telling
Case is still going on.
Io that
We're still going on
he
the
can
case.
have me and, fuck off, and just
And Salamat Sore.
screaming at him.
Thank you.
It's best I can describe it without getting into the details. He tosses the phone, down on the couch and heads upstairs. And I pick up the phone and try to, apologize for the fact that my husband at the time just screamed at my friend on a cold call. I didn't want Io to think that's why I had called Io, to just be screamed at and blamed
I had a
for
friend
something
named
that
Io.
sounded crazy, for lack of
That
a
friend
better
would be a
explanation.
robot
It sounded
or-
crazy. Io said something to me on speakerphone, and reminded me I wasn't safe.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Your Honor, it's not offered to prove the
right.
truth of the matter.
Welcome.
It's to show
Thank
what
you.
caused
I
Mr.
love
Depp to
Spain.
be set off and
I've
come
always
back.
wanted to go there.
I mean, it's not offered to prove the truth of what he's saying. It's not.
Big
hearsay.
fan of
Rule objection. Go.
Real Madrid.
Please tell us what Io
And
said
Barcelona.
and what then happened with Mr. Depp.
Io said, "Amber, get out of the house. Get out of the house now. You're not safe. Get out of that house." Io had been there after the cleanup, or for the cleanup after December 15th, 2015 incident, and had
Objection,
washed
Your Honor,
blood out of my
non-responsive.
pillowcases.
I think she can provide the context.
I'll sustain
That's
the
right.
objection.
Okay, so please.
That's exactly what
please
it means.
continue.
Johnny hears this when he's on the stairs. He made it up one flight of stairs. Heard this, turned around, came bolting down the stairs, grabbed the phone from my hand, and really started screaming this time. Lit into Io, called Io every imaginable horrible name that you can say to a LGBTQIA person, for one, and any person, any human being ever. I mean, just screamed at Io. Some really nasty stuff, and when he was done, he says, you want to have my woman now, you want to have my bitch, you can have, you take her, you can have her. And he, with that, picks up, just pulls his arm back with the phone and throws it at my face. Hit me right in it felt like my eye. I put my head in my hands and immediately start crying. I said, "You hit me with the phone. Johnny, you hit me." And I'm sitting on the couch. I didn't even have time to react, I didn't even have time to put my hands up. I was still sitting cross-legged in my socks on the couch, and I haven't seen him for a month. And several times now that I've seen him, he's hit me, and I didn't even have time to react to this. He comes over to me as I'm crying, and he does that taunting thing. to me. He says, "Oh yeah, I hit you, huh? I hit you, yeah?" And he just feels like whacks me on top of my head. Just this heavy ringed hand landed on top of my skull, grabs me by the hair, yanks me up off the couch. I'm struggling to stand up.
Damn, that's pretty violent.
And I don't know if he was intending to hit me in the face or if he was just trying to grab my face, but he was making this gesture around my face to try to expose my face to him. And he was like, "Yeah, let me see how bad I hurt you. Let me see it. Let me see how bad I hurt you this time. What if I pull your hair back? What if I pull your hair back?"
Jesus.
And he yanks my hair back. I'm trying to prevent him from landing the blows to my face. I'm trying to prevent my face from being exposed. And I just remember this mocking taunt he was doing with me as he is yanking me around the room. And then I hear my friend come into the room. I hear her. Johnny hears her too. He lets go of me and turns. And
Just tell the jury who your friend is.
Raquel, my best friend at the time, who lived in the neighboring apartment, she came in, and Johnny moved towards her, and she ran towards me. Johnny looked at her, looked at me. I retreated to the only place I had to go, which is the corner room where the couch was. I retreated kind of to the couch, and Raquel and Johnny both ran up to me.
Ooh.
Slow, but very concentrated, very controlled, slow way. Just put both of her arms, her hands up like this,
Twitter
and like
needs
I've
to
seen
their
people
lives.
do with horses. That's what it reminded me of. She just went, no, no, Johnny, no.
No.
And she just got in front of us, in between us, put both of her palms out.
Wow.
Johnny kind of squared off to her, ran into her arms, and she just repeated herself very slowly, very calmly, very directly. He hit both of her arms off of his chest like that and barreled towards me. I instinctively curl up on the couch, and I just feel her arms come around me, next to me. She was sitting on my left next to me on the couch, and I just feel her arms around me. And I'm just looking down at the carpet, feeling her arms. And that's when Johnny, who I can see partially and hear, is right in front of me, and he's screaming at me to get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. And every single time he said it, he's screaming it louder and louder and louder. I think he screamed it probably about 10 times, so loudly. The next thing I hear is, boss, boss. And I realize that his 2 security guards had come into the apartment after Raquel. I see them or hear them, and Johnny turns to them, and I see Jerry say, boss, boss. And I get up off the couch, and I say to Jerry,
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted at all.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right.
Next one.
So don't tell us what you said to Jerry, just what happened next.
then they tell him something. And he picks up the bottle that I guess he walked in with. It was a
This is
Magnum.
Mr. Depp or Jerry?
I'm sorry, Johnny.
Okay.
And starts smashing things off the nightstand, the coffee table, starts screaming. And they kind of, I feel them kind of corral him. I'm not making direct eye contact, but I can kind of just sense and feel and sound and hear things smashing as he exits the apartment, kind of knocking things off the countertops and breaking things on the way. I realize he's punching something. I assume it was the picture because it broke right after he walked past it. And he leaves that apartment. I hear him in the hallway still screaming. I hear more doors opening, more racket. Eventually, Josh, Raquel's husband, comes into the room and brings me to safety, brings Raquel and I to safety in their apartment. And that's where I stayed for the next few hours.
So who called the police?
I believe it was
Objection calls for
Io.
speculation.
Your Honor, this is not, we
How
have
is that
to have
speculation,
the
though?
context here of somebody called the police.
Yeah.
Because then the police
Relevant.
come. So I think we have to put, I mean, it's not offered again to prove the truth of the matter asserted, it's just who called the police.
Your Honor, the objection is not hearsay. It's speculation.
Do you know who called the police?
Yes, I do now.
I'll sustain the objection. The
All
next
right.
question.
Did you have a were you present when there was a discussion about calling 911?
Objection calls for hearsay.
I'm asking if she was
I'll
present.
sustain the objection. Next question.
Being a lawyer is
Did
tough.
you call 911?
No.
Okay. Did Rocky call 911?
Objection calls for speculation.
Do you know whether Rocky called 911?
I do know whether she did.
And did
She did not.
Okay. All right, so what happens, when did you learn that the police had been called?
Roughly an hour, at some point shortly after Johnny and his security guards left.
Okay. And what did you do as a result of knowing that the police were coming?
I felt panicked. I didn't know what to do because I didn't know what they were going to do when they saw the state of the place. He'd also smashed up the other apartment where I kept all my things. So I didn't know what they were going to do. And I panicked. I called the only lawyer I have, which is my entertainment lawyer. He does like my movie contracts and stuff. And I asked him for advice.
And then without telling what he said, what happened next?
I called a domestic relations attorney after that conversation.
And had you known this domestic relations attorney before then?
No, I did not.
Did you get that name from your entertainment attorney?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And when you called the domestic relations attorney, without saying what she said, what did you do as a result?
I told the police officers who arrived that I would not
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Again, not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted.
All right. I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I repeated to the officers, I refused to cooperate at this time at the advice of my attorney.
Okay. Did you call your publicist that night?
No.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you to take a look at some pictures, but before I get there, I want to just ask you a couple of questions leading up. What were you doing when the police officers arrived?
At that time, after I learned that they were coming, my best friend took pictures of me. We took pictures of the house and my face.
Okay. I'm going to, and did your best friend take any pictures while the officers were there?
We took pictures before and while they were there and after.
Okay.
We took pictures throughout.
Okay. So I'm going to take you now, Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 706? I think we can do the native on this one. Yes, thank you. Does this accurately depict the scene portrayed?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, I'd like to move the admission of Defendant 706.
No objection.
706 in evidence and published.
And would you please describe to the jury what this is a picture of?
Whoa. First time.
This is my face after Johnny threw a phone at it.
Okay. I'm going to now, Michelle, ask you to pull up Defendants 708. And does this accurately depict the scene portrayed in this picture?
Yes, it does.
All right. And I also see that there is a little, what we call metadata item on there. How do you get that on a picture? How does that happen? Can you just describe briefly?
Objection, Your Honor. That's speculation, lack of foundation.
If you want to approach.
Yeah.
Like a foundation? She could use foundation. Yeah! Just kidding. That was a stupid makeup joke. But clearly she's doing a lot of this to hold back tears. The camera is panning away. All right, so let me, while the lawyers are convening with the judge, throwing a phone. If we take Amber Heard's words at face value, Johnny Depp just pulled a Russell Crowe. I thought, till today, Russell Crowe is the one that, famous for throwing phones at people. But all joking aside, man, that is some brutal description, bro. With the whole the friend the friend blocking in between Johnny Depp about to like attack Amber Heard and Amber Heard. Johnny Depp like putting his arms around Amber Heard. It's like, you know what that reminds me of? Have you seen the movie Raging Bull with Robert De Niro? In the movie, Jake LaMotta, his character, was a pretty abusive husband to his wife. That's what it reminds me of. That whole description reminds me of those
Explain
scenes.
how this particular item on here got onto the pictures.
It's a feature that was on iPhotos, where your pictures are stored on your phone. Typically, you just push info.
And was that pushed in these instances?
I
of
pushed
these pictures?
info, and that's what came up.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendants 708.
The objection to 708?
Your Honor, I would just ask the picture be redacted on hearsay grounds
Your Honor,
for the metadata,
Okay, if you want to
alleged
approach
metadata.
again. Okay.
Approaching the bench again, huh? Man, these lawyers, pretty tough cookies, man. Let me check. I think did I put the right image on the? Sorry, guys. While we're taking a break here, we'll come back as soon as Amber Heard talks again. I'll come back. I promise. Just want to check my YouTube channel real quick for. I'll make sure the video.
Your Honor, one moment, please. I'm
All
just
right.
trying to figure out how to move this fast.
Okay, that's fine.
I want to make sure the image on the video is the correct one.
Okay.
And I can't seem to get to
All
the
right.
back
I'm going to
end.
move the admission of 708 with the redaction, Your Honor.
Okay, any objection to that?
There still needs to be another redaction at the top, Your Honor.
Okay.
The lawyers are still arguing about which ones that are allowed, which ones that are not
Thank you.
allowed, which ones they think should be included as evidence, which ones they think that should not be included as evidence. I just want to check the thumbnail image here real quick.
Okay, 708 with the redactions. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I would also like the record to reflect that
There you go.
we're publishing this to the jury.
Yes, no objection, correct?
Okay.
Yes. There we go.
Okay. I would like the record to reflect that this was the photo that was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon. as
Objection, Your
Exhibit
Honor.
20
That is-
Your Honor, we
that is
couldn't put him in
inappropriate, Your
because
Honor.
we hadn't identified him. Now the jury should be entitled to know which photo
Your Honor,
was
we ask
shown
that we
as
approach-
that
Okay,
exhibit.
we can
This
approach.
is
That's fine.
inappropriate.
Damn. So she kind of brought receipts, you guys. I know we've been like arguing about where's the evidence, where's the proof, but she kind of she kind of brought evidence. She kind of brought proof. I don't know, man. I'm not saying that I'm Team Amber Heard now, but it's gonna be pretty tough.
So for the record,
To argue against
this particular
this.
photo was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as Exhibit 24 in both of the depositions that were shown earlier, where the pictures were not allowed to be shown yet because they hadn't been admitted. Amber, will you please describe for the jury what is depicted in this photo?
What do you guys
Yes,
think about
that's
this
a
evidence?
picture of my face taken that evening, shortly before 9:30, after Johnny hit me with the phone.
Okay. Now we can take this one down and let's go to Defendants Exhibit 709. And based on the court's ruling, I'm going to ask if you can redact that, Michelle, please.
I gotta admit though, Amber Heard is pretty.
Remove the admission of 709.
All right, any objection?
Not with rejections. Thank you.
Lover or hater,
With
she's
redactions,
pretty
evidence
hot,
you
dude.
can publish?
Look at her. I'd
To be
still do
published to
her.
the jury, Your Honor. Thank you.
Not on this photo.
And Your Honor, for the record, this is the photo that was shown to Officer Sines and to Officer Haddon as Exhibit 25 for
This looks
both of their
horrible.
depositions. Amber, could you please describe for the jury what's depicted here?
That is my face after the phone incident. It's that night.
All right, let's bring Defendant 710, please.
Right, Roll Reynolds? She is beautiful for a white chick.
And Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Exhibit 710, the redactions.
Exactly.
if
Without
you'll
makeup,
please.
she's still pretty.
Any objection?
No
The
objection.
very rare
Thank you.
case
710 with redactions, you can publish?
where a
If we can
woman doesn't have
publish
to wear
her.
a lot of makeup and she still looks pretty.
And for the record, this photo was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon. It was Exhibit 26 for both of their depositions. And please describe for the jury what's depicted here.
Exactly, Dominic.
That is my face
A
in
picture tells a million words.
yet a different light that same evening after Johnny hit me with the phone.
Now I feel conflicted. If this
Let's
is
go
really
ahead and go
true,
to Defendants Exhibit 711.
then now I feel conflicted now. I don't know. What do you guys feel? I feel conflicted. I'm still Team Johnny Depp, but now I feel conflicted.
And
And I'm going to move the admission of 711, Your Honor, with the redactions.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
All right, 711 with redactions and evidence, publish.
And for the record, Your Honor, for the jury's
Right,
purposes,
Dominic?
this was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as Exhibit 27 to both of their depositions.
Dominic
And
is
could you
correct. I
describe
would still
what's
date her too.
depicted here, Amber?
Great minds think alike.
Yes, that is another angle, another lighting of my face
She still doesn't have makeup either.
after the phone
Okay. And
that
when-
evening.
And when you
Just
say angle
naturally
lighting,
beautiful.
what did Rocky do
Biologically
in-
beautiful.
in taking these pictures?
Photogenic.
Objection calls for speculation.
I said, what'd she do?
To overrule.
Thank you.
Raquel took pictures of my face in various places around the penthouse. The apartments have really different lighting, really dark in some places. Anyway, so we just took pictures in different lighting so that we had an accurate portrayal and depiction of what had happened.
And why did you take the pictures?
Raquel did it to protect me because the cops were coming, and we knew we knew that the police. I think at this point that they were already here. They were with us, but we weren't. Maybe this was right before. I'm not quite sure without seeing the timestamp, but we weren't sure what was going to happen, what the police were going to say, what they were going to do. We didn't know what Johnny was going to do, what he was going to say, so she wanted to protect me.
Okay. So let's go ahead and bring up 712.
Damn, honey, how many photos did she bring? She comes prepared, bro. Syrup, Ralph Reynolds says.
All right, and move the admission of
Platinum
712,
blonde
Your
hair.
Any
Yes,
objection?
indeed.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
712 with redactions. You can
She's even prettier like a decade
Thank you,
ago
Ryan.
in Drive Angry
And
movie. I
please
was like,
describe-
I had a crush on her.
What's depicted here?
That is another picture of my face
Okay,
taken around the same time.
okay. And then let's go to 713.
I need a napkin. I think I'm gonna sneeze.
Move the admission of 713, Your Honor.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
All right, 713 with redactions. You can publish.
And for the record, this one was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as well as Exhibit 29 to both of their depositions. And just describe briefly to the jury what this is.
This is another picture of my face taken at the exact same time and in the same location as the other one, just with one of the lights turned on, or an additional light turned on in the previous one.
Okay, let's go to 714.
Oh man, I ran out of juice. I had to get to the store and buy a new one.
Move the admission of 714, Your Honor.
No
All
objection.
right, 714 with redactions. Publish.
And please tell the jury what this depicts.
This is another angle of my face or another picture of my face taken at a different time. I don't know if this is later or before because I can't see the time on it.
Okay. Take that down. Let's go to 715. I'm going to move the admission of 715, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, 715 with redactions in evidence. You can publish.
Thank you. And for the record, this one was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as Exhibit 17 for both. Please describe for the
It's the
jury
same
what's depicted here.
Bruce, but from a different angle.
That is a picture of my face. Some point later on in the night, it looks like that was taken in Rocky's apartment or in the apartment that she was staying in.
Okay. And let's go to 716. Move the admission of 716.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. 716 evidence as redacted.
And Emmer, could you please tell the jury what this picture depicts?
Yes, it's the business card that one of the police officers left for me in case I changed my mind and wanted to comment.
And with the pictures that we have just seen
What?
before this, were they taken before the pictures of the
Make it like horse.
police card, the card that was left after, or do you know?
Objection compound
It's not.
and calls for
Your Honor,
speculation.
compound is only.
Overruled.
Thank you.
We took pictures before, during, and after.
And the question I had for you is the pictures you've seen so far, were those taken before, at the time of this, before this card was presented to you and you took the picture, after, or do you know?
Some of them were, but without seeing all the timestamps, I can't tell exactly.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you. Okay, and then I'm going to ask you to take this one down and go to 717. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to move the admission of 717, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No
All
objection.
right, 717 is redacted in evidence. Publish.
Thank you. And please just briefly describe to the jury what this is.
The two officers that first responded left me that card. This is the front of the business card they left.
Can you tell the jury, just explain what the interaction was that you had with the police officers, just describing what you observed as they came through.
I did not want to speak to them. I asked that Raquel's partner or husband ask them to go away without speaking to me.
And just so the jury understands, who was Raquel's fiance at that time?
His name is Josh Drew, and he and Raquel lived in the apartment at Johnny's invitation across the hall from us. Raquel had keys. We kind of shared keys. They were our neighbors, but had keys to our house.
Okay.
Ooh, key share.
So why didn't you
Pinky.
want to cooperate with the police?
Sharing keys is the new sexy.
Because I wanted to protect Johnny. I didn't want him to be arrested. I didn't want him to be in trouble. I didn't want the world to know. I didn't want this to come out. I didn't want him to be in trouble. I didn't want this to be...
Aw, isn't
I
she?
wanted to protect Johnny.
I want to protect my man.
Let's go to Defendants Exhibit 1374. That's 1374. One moment, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you. All right, move the admission of 1374A, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
1374 in evidence, 1374A in evidence, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Amber, what is this?
It's another picture of my face after Johnny threw the phone at it.
Okay. And then let's go to 1493T.
How long does it take to actually slide to the next photo? What kind of technology do they have in the courtroom? It's so
And
slow.
move the
Let's get
admission
to the evidence of
1493T.
P13
No objection.
All right, 1493.
within the next 5 minutes.
And
Any day
what does
now?
this depict?
This is a picture of my face after that incident. Perhaps by the lighting, it looks like it might have been taken the next day, but I can't tell. I mean, I can't tell for sure.
Okay. And then let's go to 1493S.
Man, they really need to get a better software.
And move the admission of 1493S.
No objection.
All right, 1493S in evidence, you can publish.
And what does this depict?
And this is another picture of my eye and side of my face.
Now, were there also pictures taken of the property that you described, Mr. Depp, destroying or damaging?
Yes, there were.
Okay. Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 700? And based on Your Honor's rulings, we will take off the metadata. Move the admission of Defendants Exhibit 700.
No objection with redaction.
700 with redactions, you can publish.
Can you please describe to the jury what's depicted in this photo?
Yes, my friend was preparing for a bead show and had displays to show these bead necklaces she made. And she needed some counter space in order to kind of set up the displays that she was going to use the next day. So she asked me earlier in the day if she could use the free counter space in
That's
that
good.
penthouse 5, to kind of set up those display racks. They were set up in that room
Yeah, that's super.
when Johnny went in there to destroy things, as he does.
And this depicts some of that damage?
Yeah, he security let him in, even though I had asked
Objection, Your
security
Honor,
not to.
speculation
I don't think that was speculation.
and lack of foundation.
Oh, I'll sustain as a foundation if you want to.
Okay. So what's depicted, what's the damage that was done?
Well, because Johnny would always smash up my things and destroy my property when he was mad at me. I had asked that they not let him in so that he could do that. I mean, the only purpose for him to be let into Penthouse 5 in that state, he doesn't have property in there. The only reason for him to go in there would be to destroy it. And they, of course, let him into Penthouse 5.
Objection, Your
so
Honor.
that he could go.
Yes, ma'am.
Lack of foundation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Just tell the jury what he did here that's depicted in this.
This is just a one corner of the room that shows the destruction. He just went in there with this bottle swinging and smashed a bunch of things.
Objection, Your Honor, this is speculation. She hasn't established that she was there.
I'll sustain if you want to lay a foundation. It's fine.
Okay. Did anybody else, to your knowledge, go in there and do this?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation.
Trying to lay the foundation here, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection. Next
Well,
question.
let's do this. Never mind, we'll let somebody else tell who did it, okay?
Sure.
Just all I'm asking here is what is the damage? What has been done that's depicted here?
This is just one of Raquel's bead racks that he
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
I'll sustain the
All right,
objection.
let's go to 701.
Where's the overruled? I want to hear overruled. I watch too much Law and Order. It's always sustain.
Move the admission of 701.
With redaction, no objection.
All right, 701 with redactions and evidence.
Thank you. Amber, can you please describe what's depicted here?
Yeah, it is our bedroom in Penthouse 3, the main penthouse. Looks like he was just throwing things.
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Sustain the objection.
So just describe what you see here as opposed to what you say he did.
I see a bunch of art tossed on the bed.
Okay, where was that art before Mr. Depp was at your house on May 21, 2016?
Hanging on the wall where it belongs.
Okay. Let's go to, Michelle, can you bring up Defendant 702, please?
She could have just nicely placed those frames on the bed. Hey, but that's just my counter argument. Sustain! Overruled!
Oh, Your Honor, and I forgot on the last two. For Defendants Exhibit 700, that was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon. It was Exhibit 39 to both of theirs. And Exhibit 701 was shown to Haddon only, and that was Exhibit 30 in his deposition. I move the admission of 702, please.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
All right, 702 with redactions.
Thank you, Your Honor. And let the record reflect this was also shown to Officer Haddon as deposition exhibit number 40. And can you please describe for the jury what's depicted here?
Yes, it is broken glass from one of the broken pictures that were hanging on the wall.
And where is this physically?
This is in Penthouse 5 on the stairwell.
Okay. Michelle, can you bring up Defendant 703, please?
I wonder what Johnny Depp is thinking right now with his head down.
Move the admission of Defendant 703.
Is he just doodling? Is he just
No objection.
All right, 703 with redactions.
drawing some...
Thank you, Your Honor.
Scratches?
And let the record reflect that this was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as Exhibit 41 for both of their depositions. And Amber, please describe for the jury what's depicted here.
It's another photograph of the stairwell in the same apartment, Penthouse 5, which is the
Penthouse.
apartment where I kept my things.
Okay. And is that glass on the stairway?
Yes, from one of the broken picture frames on the wall. We had a lot of picture. I had a lot of picture frames on the walls, and many, if not most of them, were smashed.
Okay. Let's take this one down and go to 704, please. Defendants. Michelle, thank you. Move the admission of defendant 704.
No objection.
All right, 704 with redactions, publish.
Thank you, and let the record reflect that this was shown to both Officer Sines and Haddon as Exhibit 34 to both their depositions. And Amber, please describe for the jury what's depicted here.
Just another piece of glass. It looks like the base of a wine glass. That is in penthouse 3, the main apartment.
Okay. And when you say wine glass, did you see this particular glass?
There were glasses in the kitchen, and always. And when Johnny was walking out, I saw him myself swinging the magnum-sized bottle, and I could hear glass breaking and things falling.
Okay. Thank you. Michelle, can you bring up 705, please? Move the admission of 705.
No redaction. No,
I'll do
excuse me, no
anything with her.
objection.
Clearly, be a millionaire or billionaire.
I'd like to-
705 in evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, go ahead.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Haddon and Exhibit 36 of his deposition.
Dominic, you have to live
Amber,
in
can
a
you please describe to the
penthouse,
jury
brother.
what's portrayed
Penthouse number 2B.
Things knocked over on
And then
the
you'll get
kitchen
Amber Heard.
countertop, and I see pieces of broken glass on the countertop as well.
If you don't live in a penthouse, forget
Go to
it. You'll never
707.
get with Amber Heard.
Move the admission of 707.
Any objection?
No objection, Your
All
Honor.
right, 707 with redactions and evidence, thank you.
And let the record show that both Officer Sines and Officer Haddon were shown this picture. It was Exhibit 18 in both their depositions. Amber, could you please describe to the jury what's depicted here?
This is the hallway leading leading up to the apartments. So this is the hallway that connects all of the apartments. It's kind of an indoor-outdoor sort of hallway, meaning it's covered, but it's exposed on the far ends of both to the elements. So this is not carpet. It's like a plasticky. I don't know how to describe the material. It's like a plasticky kind of netting, not netting. It's difficult to describe, but it's a kind of an outdoor sort of carpet.
All right, and what's depicted there?
Wine on the floor and a little on the wall, it seems.
Okay,
D.
let's go to 718,
Wine.
please.
If you drink beer and water like me, you'll never get with Amber Heard. Penthouse, wine, maybe a little bit of
Move
MDMA.
the admission of 718.
No objection.
All right, 718 with redactions and evidence.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon in Deposition Exhibit 31 for both of them. Amber, please describe for the jury what's depicted here.
It's another photograph on the floor, not the wall. This one appears to be remarkably unbroken.
Okay, let's go to 719, please. Move the admission of Defendant 719.
No objection.
All right, 719 with redactions, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. And let the record reflect that this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon in their depositions, Exhibit 35 to both.
What are those?
And
Banana?
Amber, please just describe for the jury what's depicted here.
It's one corner of the kitchen in penthouse 3. Looks like one of the things that was knocked off of the kitchen island when Johnny left.
Well, banana? Pear?
Let's go to
What
Defendant
food is that?
720, please.
I want to know. I'm hungry, damn it.
Move the admission of Defendant 720.
No
All
objection.
right, 720 with redactions.
And let the
evidence.
record reflect, Your Honor, this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon, Deposition Exhibit 43 to both. Amber, could you please describe to the jury what's depicted here?
That's my office. It's a corner of my office, and that is a box of like sentimental things from my childhood or things that are important to me. Keepsake box that has been dumped out. It looks like.
Okay. Let's go to Defendant 721. Move the admission of Defendant 721.
No objection, Your Honor.
721 with redactions, published.
Thank you, Your Honor, and let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon in Deposition Exhibit 44 for both. Amber, please describe for the jury what this depicts.
It's again my office. Same thing, different angle.
Okay. Let's go to 722. Move the admission of Defendants Exhibit 722.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 722 with redactions and evidence. Thank you.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as Deposition Exhibit 42 to both. Amber, please describe to the jury what's depicted here.
That's a picture of my friends and I when we were at that London house that Johnny punched.
Okay. You saw him punch this?
I heard it.
Okay. All right, let's go to 723, please. Move the admission of Defendant 723.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 723 redacted and evidence.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon in their depositions, Exhibit 38 for both. Amber, please describe for the jury what's reflected.
One of the, it looks like a Magnum bottle of wine that is empty or spilled on the floor.
Can you tell where that is located?
It looks like it would be
It's
penthouse
sort of odd. The
5.
computers
Okay.
are in front of them or get screens.
Let's
I
go
never
to
recall seeing that
724.
before. Exactly. I know. I mean, I've only been inside a courtroom once. I don't want to go there anymore. But I don't remember seeing a computer
Move the
screen
admission
like
of
this
Defendant
in
724.
front of the person.
No objection.
All right, 724 with
And-
redactions. Thank you.
And let the
I don't
record
even think
reflect this was
courtroom
shown to
dramas
Officer
on
Sines
TV
and
have
Haddon
that.
as their deposition Exhibits 33. Amber, please tell the jury what's depicted here.
This is more wine that Johnny was spilling as he was using the bottle he was holding as a bat of sorts.
Let's go to 725.
On TV in
Well,
courtroom
still
dramas,
two more.
usually they would do it on a slide, on an overhead projector slide. You know what I'm saying? On one side of the room where everybody could
Move
see.
the admission of Defendant
That slide.
725.
No
All
objection.
right, 725 with redactions.
So there's no
Let
computer
the record
screen like
reflect this was
laptop
shown to
screen in
Officer
front of
Sines
the
and Haddon
witness.
as Deposition Exhibit 37 to their depositions. Amber, please tell the jury what's depicted here.
More spilled wine on the floor. This looks like penthouse 5.
Okay. And last but not least, Michelle, please, Defendants 726.
How many penthouses did they live in? Holy crap! Penthouse 3, penthouse 5, penthouse 6. Jeez, rich people, bro.
Move the admission of.
No objection.
Okay.
Your Honor, I believe the jury needs a tissue.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We will get a tissue.
A member of the jury's crying?
Yes. Thank you, Halissa.
They're not supposed to
All
show
right, no
bias.
objection, 726 with redactions. Thank you.
That juror has to be removed.
All right, and let the record reflect that this one was shown to Officer Hines and Haddon as Deposition 32 exhibit to their depositions. And Amber, please just describe to the jury what's depicted here.
More spilled wine on the floor. Penthouse 3 appears.
Okay, thank you. Now, when the police officers were there, did either of them take you aside by yourself and talk with you?
Yes.
Which one, or both?
The male officer I did not have much interaction with. The female officer said she needed to speak to me by myself, pulled me aside. We went into Penthouse 3, the main penthouse, to speak there because I had been in Penthouse 1, Raquel and Josh's apartment up until that moment.
Okay, and then what, if anything, did she ask you?
She asked me if I would make a statement, if I would cooperate. She kind of indicated to me, I don't remember if it was what word she said, but she kind of gestured to my face and.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I think she could, if she gesturing to her face is not hearsay, it's not a statement.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay, and it's also not offered to prove the truth of the matter.
I'll sustain the
Okay,
objection. Next one.
so what happened next? Let's do this. How long were you with the officer when she took you aside?
A few minutes, if that.
Okay. And as a result of that, did you cooperate?
No, I did not, but it was my understanding that I couldn't stop them from walking through the apartment, which is what they indicated to me.
Okay. And were you with them when they walked through the apartment?
No, Josh, I was with them at the beginning of Penthouse 3. Josh, Raquel's partner, took over from there and showed them around the house up through Penthouse 3, which connects on the top floor to the neighboring apartment, Penthouse 4, and then on to Penthouse 5. They all connect on the top level. So Josh walked the officers through the house.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you say about the identity of Mr. Depp?
Nothing.
Were you asked?
Yes.
Or you refused to tell them?
Objection, leading.
Sustain.
Okay. Why did you refuse to tell the police officers Mr. Depp's identity?
Because I did not want them to arrest Johnny. I did not want this to happen. I did not want any of this to happen. I didn't want to get him in trouble. So I said, well, I just refused to cooperate.
Okay. Now, approximately how long were the police officers there?
I don't recall exactly, maybe, I'd say less than half an hour. I really don't know exactly, but they weren't there very long at all.
Okay. Now, after the police officers left, what did you do?
We cleaned up a bit because there was broken glass and we had dogs. So we tried to clean up the mess, and especially the glass. And Josh, Rocky, Liz, and I, we kind of just cleaned up and eventually sat on the couch, and they just tried to comfort me.
What, if any, knowledge did you have that there was going to be a second set of officers coming later that night?
I didn't know about that. That surprised me.
When did you learn that a second set of officers were coming to the penthouse that night?
I think I learned about it when they were there, when they arrived.
Okay. And we've seen the body-worn video on that. Is there anything that you recall outside of what was reflected on Officer Gatelin's body-worn video?
I couldn't see much of what was on that video. I remember being surprised that they were there, not really knowing why they were there. I assumed it was because I was encouraged to make a statement by the first set of officers.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
All right, I'll
Just
sustain
keep
the
going
objection.
forward. Okay.
And I was sitting on the couch. It was sometime hours, maybe between an hour, 2 hours, maybe more. I don't really recall, but we had cleaned up and we were resting, and they were comforting me when they came, and they didn't seem to. They didn't do what the first set of officers did. They just kind of came into the apartment, confirmed that that I was okay, or that we were okay. They didn't really seem to be that concerned, and they didn't demand to do a walkthrough like the first set of officers had, and they left.
Okay. And what, if any, cooperation did you give them?
Well, I didn't need to. I didn't really cooperate with them. I didn't talk to them. I didn't even get up off the couch. I was speaking to them from quite a bit of a distance, like between you and I,
Just
and
never know. I never
maybe
saw it.
more.
Never
And I
saw
didn't
it.
really say anything. I just
Yeah.
kind of acknowledged that they entered, and that was it.
Did you provide them with Mr. Depp's name?
No way.
Did they ask?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take you to the next day, May 22.
When is the next recess? I need to get me some Coke.
And I'm going to, Michelle, can you bring
Coca-Cola.
up Defendants Exhibit
Coca-Cola.
772? What, if any, efforts did Mr. Depp make to reach out to you the day after this happened?
Well, he made several efforts. Immediately, he kind of reached out and lashed out. Again, kind of going on what seems to be slightly delusional, thinking that just because he saw all my friend's beads out on the countertop, that it had become a workshop or a studio for her. So he seemed angry about, this perception that this
I need some caffeine.
bead display that my friend had set up was evidence of her running some sort of workshop. And he also accused us of having invited someone else to live there who wasn't living there, who was just in the apartment when Johnny stormed in. So he just kind of lashed out, and then the tone changed in the days that followed.
And let me stop you there. So I'm going to ask you to take a look at Defendants Exhibit 772. And is this a text message from Mr. Depp to you?
Yes, it is.
And it's on 5/22 at 12:23 a.m. So it's early morning hours after 5/21. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendant 772.
No objection.
All right, 772, and evidence with the identifiers redacted and published. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, and I know you started to talk about this, Amber, but it says, I'm an idiot, PH5 is Rocky's studio. You are shameless. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, was that what you were talking about with him thinking that you're,
Yes.
okay. And then.
Dominic says, I want to be like Aladdin and marry up. Way up.
Obviously, we can read that he says, I tried to make it work. You just turned more and more into a spoiled brat.
Same here,
All
Dominic,
you
same
wanted was
here.
to make me fucking miserable. Well, I'm finally there.
A whole new world,
I'll
right?
never be able to understand how I fell in love with you. You're not her. I loved you more than anything. I did everything that I could, but you never fucking loved me.
You never-
I was merely convenient for you. I hope our divorce goes as quickly as possible and that it is as painless as possible. So sorry you were as unhappy with me as you were. Obviously, the purity of whatever was has been gone for a long time. I will miss the moments of beauty and truth. Goodbye, Amber. What the fuck was I thinking? I wish you all you merit. The former him. What, if any, discussions did you have with Mr. Depp about divorce that night?
We did not have a discussion about that that evening. We didn't have time. He was obsessed with dog poop.
Okay.
That's what he wanted to talk about.
All right, let's take this down and let's go to Defendants
with
Exhibit
dog.
773.
My dog stepped on a bee. Dog poop.
Now, this is a text exchange between you and Mr. Depp. It starts with Mr. Depp on 5/21 at 6:58 p.m. just saying here. Does that refresh your recollection of when he arrived at your penthouse on May 21?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next series are on 5/22. They start at 5:13. And you're discussing talking. You said, sorry, I'm just leaving Amanda's birthday now. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
All right. And then he responds to that, correct?
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, I'd like to move the admission of Defendant 773.
Your Honor, if we could just have a minute to review this exhibit.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it just this page?
No, there's
3 pages.
3 pages.
I'm just reading Michelle's hands.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 773 in evidence with identifiers redacted. Thank you.
Thank you. And if we could, okay, we've got it published to the jury. So let's go to the top, Michelle. And so it starts out with him, this is the 5/21, 6:58 p.m. saying he's there, correct?
Yeah, but I think he came in later than that. Took him some time.
Okay. And then if we move up, the next one is you at 5:22 at 5:13 p.m., correct?
Yes.
And then you say, thank you, and then can we still speak in a min? What do you recall of why you sent those texts?
I believe we had spoken on the phone. Or I can't control this, correct? The screen. I don't know.
We can give you control, yes. Maybe we should do that and clear out my purples.
I just don't know what was sent right before this.
Go ahead. Your Honor, can
Well,
we
she can't scroll. She's asking to scroll.
Okay, Michelle, let's have you scroll if you can.
Scroll! Damn it.
Just go ahead and scroll through just slowly so she can read the whole thing.
Don't skip it. Scroll.
Okay, makes sense.
Is the game on yet? No, okay. Not yet. My team is playing in a few hours.
All right, does that help refresh your recollection?
Yes, I believe that
Man,
I believe he had apologized to me after the phone incident. I had commitments that I had to attend the following day on the 22nd. So the beach show I referenced, I mentioned to you, I had to go to. I also had to bring a cake to a friend's birthday party. So I had things I unfortunately had to do that day. And I remember there was communication with Johnny, both by phone and by text, where he was telling me that he was clean, that he was sober, he was clear mind, it wasn't the monster, and that he was so sorry. But I
Yeah, when is Ellen
I had already committed to filing for divorce. And eventually I have to let him know that it's not just saying it in the anger, in the fights that like we had done, you know, both he and I did that at times in some of our fights, especially towards the end of our relationship. And so I let him know that I was serious about filing this time, and that I had had enough after the phone.
Objection, Your Honor,
I had
hearsay.
enough.
Okay.
Overruled, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to draw your attention to the bottom of the page, Defendants Exhibit 773, and this is at 5:22, so this is 6:19 p.m. Do you see that? 5:22? And he says, just let me know when you have a minute, and I'll give you a call. Nothing I have to say, you should elicit anything but a sense of ease. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then he says, all my love and profound apologies.
Profound apology.
What was he apologizing for?
Objection,
Do you
calls
know?
for speculation.
What was your understanding of what he was apologizing for?
Speculation, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. In his phone call with you, did he tell you what he was apologizing for?
Yes.
What did he say?
He was sorry that he reacted the way he did. He said he didn't mean to hurt me. He didn't mean to hurt me. If he really hurt me that bad, he's sorry that he didn't mean to.
Okay. Michelle, if we can go to the next page. Up to the green, please. And he says here, I'm sad, I'm scared, and I'm broken, my sweet Slim. And then he says, I want you happy. I have zero harsh feelings. I am clear and I am me. What did you understand him to mean by I am clear and I am me?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Do you
I
have
know
an
what he
understand-
meant.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Did he
there's a
use
lot.
that phrase with you?
Hold on, I'll sustain that objection.
I'm
You can
trying to
actually-
get to the
yeah, I
next
know.
one here.
Then you can ask your next question. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Did he use those phrases with you during your marriage?
Yes, he did.
What did Mr. Depp mean when he says I am clear and I am me?
Objection, calls for speculation.
I think I established the foundation.
Overruled, go ahead.
Thank you.
That he had sobered up. That he had sobered up and he was not the monster again, that he was him. That he was a good guy I loved. The one that I trusted.
All right. Now I'm going to ask, Michelle, if you can take that one down and bring in 771, which has already been admitted. Now, those text exchanges were in the 6 o'clock to almost 7 o'clock range. And here, it's 5:22, it's now 8 o'clock, correct?
Yes.
And he's telling you, sorry if a bit, please know that my hurt towards you is over. My apologies are eternal and belong to you. Solid. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And was it your understanding he was apologizing again?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Was there anything else he would have been apologizing for that he had done?
Objection, calls
Dominique
for
says the lawyers and the judge spent years in school doing the job. The judge seems like a classy middle-aged woman. She must go home and be like, what the fuck
So-
was all that?
Tell the jury how you felt in that week,
True.
May 22.
They're probably thinking like,
and May
man, we went to law
27,
school
and
for
what you
this?
decided to do.
Why couldn't I get the heavy, high-profile murder cases?
At the time, it felt like the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I had worked so hard to try to make this relationship work. I went to therapy, I went to Al-Anon, I got help, I read books, I did everything I could possibly do, and it didn't work.
I want to see Ellen Barkin, bro.
And I was conflicted. To answer your question, I was conflicted. I knew after he threw the phone at my face that after all that month of not seeing each other, that not getting better, not getting clean and sober, there wasn't even, I didn't, it was falling apart. And I knew I had to leave him. I knew I wouldn't survive it if I didn't. So I made the decision to file for divorce. It was hard because, I loved Johnny so much. I loved him so much.
And why did you file for divorce?
Because I knew if I didn't, I'd likely not literally survive. I've been so scared that it was going to end really badly for me. And I really didn't want to leave him. I loved him so much. I wouldn't have done anything, but I couldn't do that one thing. I couldn't stay. The promise and the hope that I had become less and less regular and more rare. The monster had been this thing that was now the normal and not the exception. The violence was now normal and not the exception. And it was so hard. It was so hard, but I knew I had to do it. I believe he would have taken it too far. I wouldn't be here.
Why did you ask for a domestic violence temporary restraining order?
I wanted to change my locks. I wanted a good night's sleep. Security would always let him into the house no matter what I asked them. No matter when I begged them to let me know when he was coming over, no matter how much I begged them not to let him in when he was mad or drunk or high. And I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up in a panic. I was losing hair. I was losing weight. I got really sick. I had shingles. I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up in a panic attack. I had panic attacks all the time. I was falling apart. I was scared and very conflicted because the person I was scared of is also the person I was in love with. Really, really tricky. And I was thinking one step at a time. I was thinking very myopically. I wanted just to get a good night rest, a good night's sleep. I just wanted to change my locks. I thought it'd be healthier if I got some sleep and I could think about what to do or how to handle this. If I just could sleep. And when I did, I realized that that wasn't enough, that he could get in anyway, that the building wasn't going to stop him from getting a locksmith and coming in. I knew that he would do what he wanted.
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
Thank you.
All right, next.
Okay. So did Mr. Depp show up for the hearing on the DVTRO?
No, he didn't.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And why did you show up?
Because I had to provide testimony for why I needed a restraining order.
What, if any, warning did you give Mr. Depp about obtaining the DVTRO?
We gave him warning. My counsel and his counsel were in communication, and we let them know. We had to. It was mandatory. It's my understanding of it. I'm not a lawyer.
Was there any confusion surrounding whether Mr. Depp was going to file suit as well?
Objection, Your Honor. calls for
I'm
speculation,
asking
lack of
for-
foundation.
All right, I'll sustain as the foundation if you want.
Did you have any confusion as to whether Mr. Depp was going to file as well?
So I filed for divorce on the 23rd, I believe, and I thought that when I went in that Tuesday, when we filed for it, remarkably, it managed to stay under the radar. You know, these filings are not private. You can't make them private in California. And remarkably, it had flown under the radar. No one picked up on the fact that I had filed. And as limited as it sounds now, I just wanted as much privacy as we could have. You know, one day at a time, I wanted as much privacy as we could possibly get. And the filing had been missed by TMZ and, you know, these paparazzi outlets and stuff. But between the communications between our counsel, I realized that Johnny was going to file in
Objection,
retaliation.
hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
I'm trying to think how to ask this. So, without saying what the counsel said, what was your understanding and what was your concern?
Objection, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right, well, let's move on. Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 800, please?
Oh man, seriously, Twitter needs to fix their live stream, bro.
Objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 800.
None of this buffering bullshit.
Amber, can you describe for the jury what this picture is?
It's a picture of my face while I'm sitting at the courthouse.
And were you wearing any makeup?
I was wearing nothing, not a stitch of makeup.
Michelle, can you bring up 801, please? Move the admission of 801.
No objection.
801 in evidence, publish.
And Amber, if you can tell the jury what this is.
That's me while I was obtaining my restraining order. It's me in the courthouse.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you do while you were at the courthouse? Did you testify?
Oh, I provided testimony and sat there and cried.
And did you obtain a domestic violence restraining order? Temporary
I
restraining
did. The court granted me a restraining order at that time.
When you left the courthouse, what did you experience?
I walked into the courthouse. It was quiet. First thing in the morning. No one knew about my divorce, so I thought it was going to stay that way. And I walked out to a sea of paparazzi and cameras, photographers. It was to that point. At that point in my life, had never seen so many photographers, and they just surrounded me as I walked out of that courthouse and screamed at me, screamed horrible things at me.
I'm conflicted,
I'm
bro.
going to take you just for a moment to
Now that
makeup.
I'm seeing
and then
those
we'll-
photos,
after
Okay, good
that,
break point.
Photo
that-
evidence
yeah,
of
that'll
her
be
bruise.
the
Thank you.
breaking point after the makeup. You
Yes.
said that you didn't
conflicted
testify,
now.
you didn't wear any makeup that day. We've heard
Now
all
I don't know what
kinds
to
of things
believe.
about makeup in this case. Could you please tell the jury what your regular routine was with respect to makeup?
Wow, we're talking about makeup now.
Yes, I get up and wash my face like most of us, and I put on right away a moisturizer that has tinted foundation in it. And then I put another foundation on because it has sunblock in it. I have a skin condition that my skin reacts to the sun in a bad way. So I have to wear sunscreen or sunblock every day. Anyway, so I put on both of those. I put on concealer, and I do that before I leave my bathroom in the morning. That's obviously if I don't have a bruise.
Now,
how easy it is
when you
for us men
had
with
bruises or cuts of any
have
nature,
respect to-
what would you do about
respect to
those?
women everywhere.
Would you try to cover them up? Would you
Is this a
try to just
hassle?
leave them showing? What would you do?
Wear
Objection on a leading.
I was-
Imagine doing that
Thank
every
you.
day.
Well, I'm typically photographed in LA when I leave the house, paparazzi type of photograph. So I'm somewhat aware of that anyway. And no woman wants to walk around with a bruise on her face. So if I do have a bruise on my face or someplace visible, the main thing, you have to ice right away to reduce swelling because no amount of makeup can fix swelling, but it's very manageable if you ice it really soon. Arnica is also a great remedy, arnica cream. And then if you want to cover up a bruise, you obviously put foundation first, concealer, and then on top of that, I used a bruise kit. Not a bruise kit, it's a theater makeup kit, a color correction kit, but I called it my bruise kit.
And let me, I use this, I think, in opening statement, and it's Defendants Exhibit 155.
If you could, by the microphone, please.
Oh.
We can't hear you. There you go.
May I approach the witness to?
Well,
let
that's
her
what you
show?
could show the council.
This is what I was talking about as a color correction kit. This is not obviously the exact one I used to carry, but I used to carry it with me all the time. Sometimes this pink is sometimes a little bit more purple of a hue, and sometimes the kits are 3 colors. You can get them in 3 or 4 colors. Sometimes they have even more.
You should do a makeup
But the
tutorial.
idea is that you want to counteract whatever color you're working with on the bruise. So the first day of bruising, the immediate is red. Red is what shows up right away. So you want to go with the opposite on the color wheel by dabbing on a bit of green or something to counteract the red. After a day or two, you get more purple in a bruise. So you'd obviously have to go with more of the red tones, the orange tones here. Day 2 for me was always the trickiest because day 2 just, I feel like, day 1 and day 2 are hardest for me because that's when you get the most blues and purples and you have to deal with the sensitivity. Bruises don't like to be touched. That's the whole point. So that's the trickiest part. But after a few days, that becomes more of that blue becomes more of a brown, yellowish browns, like 5-7 days in becomes more of a yellow green. And then fades into a brown and then into your skin. And whatever color you're working with in the bruise, you want to go opposite color on the color wheel. The opposite, in the first couple of days when you have more of the typical bruise color, the blues and the purples, you want to go more of the orange on the color wheel as opposed to the greens that you start with. And then it progresses from there. I also noticed that bruising on your face tends to heal a lot faster than, at least for me, it was faster healing than bruises on my body, or at least it seemed like that to me. And a nose is pretty much unrecognizable after a day or 2, depending on how much you ice it. Lips are the hardest because they crack and bleed, of course. But it's easy to hide with lipstick if you're a woman. Or, if you wear lipstick, I suppose.
We heard some testimony of people in the week of May 21st to 27th saying that you didn't wear
The more
stitch
you
of
know,
makeup.
Rainbow.
Oh, was
The
that
more
true?
you know.
Objection here.
About makeup.
Overruled.
They just don't know what they're talking about. I always wear makeup.
You always wear makeup?
It's part of my bathroom routine in the morning. Wash my face. I put on moisturizer. My moisturizer has tinted foundation in it, and I'm certainly not going to walk around LA with bruises on my face.
Okay. I think this
All
might be-
right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our lunch recess at this time. Again, do not do any outside research and do not discuss the case with anybody.
I forgot
We'll
this
see
is
you in an
East
hour,
Coast,
okay?
right?
Thank you.
They're having lunch right now. Right now in California, it's still.
Court is still in session, so please be quiet in the gallery. Thank you.
All right. They're having lunch, so we're gonna come back later. whenever that is, probably 30 minutes or so. I am going to get me some Coca-Cola, some caffeine, some wake me up.
And again, Ms. Hurd, since you're still under oath and testifying, you cannot discuss this case and to include.
But let me
attorneys,
share my
okay?
thoughts
In your testimony.
with you guys
All right.
before I go.
Let's come back then at 1:40. Okay. All right. Thank you. 1:40.
1:40, that's an hour from now. But let me share you my thoughts before I go to the store. Well, let's get a look at Johnny Depp first here. All right. Okay. So a few notes. Well, let's get to Dominic's comment here. I wouldn't. I think he meant to say I wouldn't. Dominic meant to say I wouldn't be shocked if they got back together after. I can see at certain points that at points they love each other. Love is very nuanced and unique. And yes, I think Dominic clarified wouldn't. Okay. To that I say, yeah, you never know, right? You never know. I mean, look at Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. It's not, I'm not saying Ben Affleck beat up Jennifer Lopez or vice versa, but they got back together. Who knew second time's the charm? And there's other couples also that have like mended their relationship when you thought it was over. You just never know. Because when you have a history with somebody, it's sometimes that kind of messes with your heart. You know what I'm saying? Despite some of the trauma or some of the bad experiences or bad memories you had together, there's always that percentage or shred of like missing or some sort of like fondness, some fondness to them, and like, so you never know. You're right. Love is nuanced. So I would have to agree with you. If that does happen, it would make news. It would make headlines. But it would not be the most shocking thing in the world, because it happens. Also, throughout this trial, man, I gotta be honest with you. I was hoping for. Have you seen that movie starring Al Pacino back in the 70s called "And Justice for All"? I think it's directed by Sidney Lumet. One of my favorite Al Pacino movies. Go check it out. If you haven't seen it yet, it's called "And Justice for All." He played a lawyer, and he had that line that became one of his famous. Al Pacino has a lot of famous movie lines, including "Say hello to my little friend" from Scarface. But in "And Justice for All," he said, "I'm out of order. I'm out of order. You're out of order. This whole court is out of order." As he's being taken away by the security. Like, yes, the court's out of order. I'm out of order. You're out of order. You, judge, are out of order. Man, that'd be pretty funny if there's such fireworks happening in this trial of Johnny Depp Amber Heard. Johnny Depp's lawyer gets up like, you're out of order. Amber Heard, you're out of order. Judge, you're out of order. But anyway, go check it out. Go check out that movie if you haven't. Another thing also I want to point out before I go. Ayo, this friend who stands in between Johnny Depp allegedly trying to hit Amber Heard, between Depp and Amber, preventing that attack. Supposedly, if we take Amber's words at face value, the friend Ayo, the friend who told Amber, hey, leave this relationship, get away from that man. Like, I want to see this Ayo. Has this Ayo person ever took the stand? Did I miss out on that day when this Ayo person took the stand? Because I would love to see that. I would love to see that testimony. How come we don't hear straight from Ayo? Where's Ayo now? Come on, Ayo. Take the stand and take the oath. Go in front of that computer screen and share your story, man. Share your story. I want to hear it. The makeup thing. Well, here's the thing. I posted on Twitter just right now so you guys can see it. I posted a poll on Twitter, and in it I said, if my internet is fast enough, let's get right to it, please. Okay. I asked on my poll, now that Amber Heard has brought photo evidence of her bruises to the court or to the trial, are you leaning towards Team Amber or are you still Team Johnny Depp? So, so far, 1.5% says now I'm Team Amber Heard. So they have changed their mind after seeing those photos. 94% says I'm still Team Johnny Depp. I don't care about the photos, you know. I am still Team Johnny Depp. I've taken it aside. 1.5% says haven't decided yet, and 3% says I don't care. Oh, let's see here. Dominic says I may skip out her for the moment, my friend. I may come back a bit later. Actually, do some spring house cleaning while listening here. No worries, my friend. No worries. Do your thing. Do your thing. You gotta do what you gotta do. So 94. Look, it's 200 votes. Yeah, there's 200 people already voting on my poll, and a big chunk of it says I'm still Team Johnny Depp, despite the photo evidence of Amber Heard's bruises on her face. So 94% still have not changed their minds. They're still Team Johnny Depp. And one of them says, here's a comment by Mercedes. She said, there's a clip of Depp telling his team the bruises are a cause from Botox injections. So that's the argument that Johnny Depp gives to counter those photo evidences, those photo proofs of Amber's bruises. He's saying like, oh, that's injury from Botox, man. That's not from my fist. You know, that's not from the telephone that I threw at her. You know, so it's from Botox, man. But in this trial, it's so funny. Amber Heard like shared her makeup expertise, makeup knowledge. It's like, this is the foundation I put, and then I got to put on lotion. You know, my skin reacts to the sun in a bad way. It's like she's doing a makeup tutorial there for like a good minute or two. But what an argument could be made if you want to say that Amber Heard is a liar. You know, if you're on the camp that says Amber Heard lies, then you could say like, hey, you know what? Maybe she, created that whole bruise, the bruises thing, with her own makeup. You know, like a makeup department in a movie set. Maybe it's a fake. Maybe they're fake bruises. You know, she seems like she knows what she's talking about when it comes to makeup. How do we know that she's? How can we be sure that she's not like faking it? Maybe she's putting that whole thing on her face to make it look like bruises. So I'm being a devil's advocate here. So I don't know. As I said during the trial, I think at this point I feel conflicted. It's hard. I'm on the camp that's 1.5%. I think I'm still kind of Team Johnny Depp, but now I'm leaning towards haven't decided yet. You know, because those bruises are pretty compelling evidence. I can't see how they could be Botox. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You convince me. You tell me. What is your counter argument to those photos? How do you think she got those bruises? And do you believe that those were bruises or not? Change my mind. Try to change my mind. You know, let me know your thoughts. See what you can persuade, to get me to stay on Team Johnny Depp. All right. So an hour lunch. Let's see here. Okay. I'm just going to leave the screen here. I'm going to go do my chores, and feel free to share your thoughts in the chat, but I'm just going to leave this live stream running. It's been 2 hours now. All right. I'm going to get caffeine, guys. I'm falling asleep, and I need to get caffeine. And hopefully by the time we get back, we get to hear from Ellen Barkin, because that's what I'm most interested in. I want to see Ellen Barkin's testimony today. Hopefully, it happens today. Let me go get to the store real quick. Okay, peace out. Oh, you came back, Dominic. I'm about to go to the store and get some caffeine or some soda pop. So yeah, do your thing, brother. No, look on the screen. There's nothing going on for another hour. So I'm gonna go to the store, get Coke. I'm gonna check my game. Yeah, no problem, Dominic. And I'm gonna keep this screen on, the live stream on, right? So people can chat in or share their thoughts in the chat room. But yeah, it's better this way than to just create another live stream again later on. Or what do you think, Dominic? Should I end this live stream and then create another live stream? How about that? Would that be preferred, you guys? Maybe that would be preferred, huh? Because there's nothing going on here. Yeah, you're right. You know what? You're right. How about this, Dominic? I will end this live stream, and then in an hour, right? They said at 1:40 Eastern time. I'll come back and I'll title the live stream Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial live part 2, May 16th. May 16th part 2. How about that? Okay? All right. So let's do that. I'm going to end it right now. Okay. Excellent. Good idea, Dominic. Good idea. Instead of just leaving this run the whole hour. Where's the finish button? All right. I'll see you in an hour, guys. Let's rock this.